The Canadian economy has a big problem right now. As you can see online, the latest interview with Pierre Poilievre and Jordan Peterson, something is going on, and I want to break it down today in today's video. So if you have 5 minutes, take a look. We're going to talk about what's Canada doing wrong, why is it not entrepreneurship friendly, what's happening with the job market, why are people calling out Alberta, and then the most important factor, how do we change this? How do we fix this? I know this whole channel that I made is about entrepreneurship and bettering yourself. That starts at maybe the country we're located in. Me being in Toronto, Canada, a lot of my business is United States based, but because I'm here and I see other people like me here, if you're watching this, you're Canadian, you deserve the right to be better. I want you to be a good founder as well. I want you to do cool things, right? So, where do we actually stand today? As of 2025 right now, Canadian inflation rate's at 4.2%. Now it's down slightly, its peak was 6.8% in 2022. This is still pretty bad, as the Bank of Canada rate said they wanted to get it to 2%. You guys can clearly see the effects of this. What does that mean for Canadians? Because I know people around me experience it. You guys probably feel it. Average family spending about $15,250 on groceries in a year. Now, I don't know if you ask me, that's a huge chunk if someone's earning 30, 40K, like around minimum age, right? Not to mention 20% increase in the last 5 years. Housing, you guys know what I'm about to say. Average price about $750K. Places in Vancouver, 1.1 million. That is insane to hear of compared to our neighbors, the United States. This price went up about 25% since 2020. Dude, a quarter is an insane amount to have gone up since 2020. Even the gas prices are about $1.70 per liter, and I'll get to that why. And that the main reason behind that is we are the third largest producers of oil reserves, which is in Alberta, yet we're still importing oil. Majority of our oil is going out where? Why aren't we mining this? Where is the business mindset behind this? That's what leads to expensive gas prices as well. Now, what gets me, my most important factor, my favorite thing is entrepreneurship in Canada it's trash, right? This is not an entrepreneurship friendly country. As much as they want to say it's the land of the free, and of course, obviously there's exceptions and it is possible. That's why I'm standing here in front of you, I'm telling you. But damn, do they make it a lot harder than our neighboring country, which is why we lack capitalism and innovation at that level. We're not encouraging people to come and say, hey, use your mind, use these tools, go build something cool. I know a lot of you guys think like that. We should be doing that. Corporate taxes are 26% on average. That's not really entrepreneurship friendly if you ask me. Why would I open that when I can go to the States and get it much cheaper? Launching a business in Canada takes about 5 to 8 months, as opposed to the United States, it takes 1 to 2 months. I'm not talking about obviously getting a corporation document that takes 5 minutes anywhere. I'm talking about the process to get the ball rolling. Maybe you need licenses, maybe you need support and groups, etc. You guys get what I'm trying to say. That's a bad thing, especially if you're trying to create minds that can get elevated and create good products and solutions, and then they can hire people and grow your economy and grow just the entire culture of innovation, of building. This is the worst part. By any means in Canada, limited access to capital. We are by far the worst at people giving, or Canadians essentially raising rounds, right? The average round price for 2024 of what Canadian raised was about $7 billion. Not so bad, right? But when I compare United States, it was $100 billion in 2024. We're almost 90% less than our neighbor. And why is that the case? Why aren't we as open to providing innovation or investments? And I'm not saying be, riskless. Obviously understand what you're getting yourself into, and obviously look at the businesses that we're giving our money to. That's common sense. But if you don't give them a chance that are even have a verge or showing decent numbers and metrics of success, then what do you think is going to happen to creating more businesses and jobs and evolving the economy and creating more work, attracting more people? It doesn't make sense. That's a major problem. Now look, I'm no natural gas expert, but you can watch the Pierre Poilievre and Jordan Peterson podcast as well, or several resources on YouTube. I just think that if you guys watch me, I can bring light to this as well. Bro, how in the hell do we possess number 5 of oil resources? So we're the, I think, 5th largest or even 3rd largest oil holders, and our natural reserves are one of the top 5. But we're importing oil more than we're exporting oil. Our majority exporter is the United States of America, who refines it. Isn't it crazy our exports account for less than 1% of the global LNG market, yet we're in the top 5 of large reserve holders? Something doesn't add up here. Why aren't we treating our country in a business mindset and using these tools as a natural resource, as an enterprise would? Qatar and the United States are obviously dominating that, and they reap billions annually on behalf of that. And the funniest part is it's costing Canada $30 billion per year due to that issue. Like, make it make sense. Here's a side note. I just came to know as well, doing some research, that we are actually in the top 3, I think number 1 or 2 uranium holders as well in Saskatchewan. That's a really important resource for nuclear energy. Once again, that powers a lot of countries' homes, and we're exporting that nowhere near as much as we're supposed to. And many people might say there's other rules and put in place. Maybe we're damaging whatever you guys want to say. I'm not going to get into that. All I know is we can safely do this. There's a lot of stigma around this. We'll be here for a long time. We want to fix the quality of life right now and in the future, and this is what we need to do. All these people that talk about windmill this and all this green energy that, it doesn't make sense. To put up a windmill, it probably costs thousands and thousands of liters of diesel. A lot of these windmills are not generating nowhere near enough electricity, so maintaining them, running them, and operating them is burning way more diesel. It's like the electric car thing. Eventually we'll get there, but if everybody would go electrical right now, we wouldn't have the infrastructure to support them. And there's proven facts for that. Now, don't quote me, but what I know is if everybody switched electrical right now, I'm thinking, or from the last time I checked, like I said, don't quote me, this is the top of my head, I think wouldn't even last 30 years. So there's your answer. But with petroleum, everybody uses it everywhere, but they get bad at the oil industry. Like, why? Like, we're all using it, we need it. Now, we all know how we got here. Obviously, government is way too bureaucratic, so overmanages. Justin Trudeau, obviously, I don't know what he's doing, and I'm not going to speak much on it. All I know is there's problems, something needs to change. You guys know what that means, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. My biggest thing today was, if we're not supporting entrepreneurs in this country, how do you expect to create more jobs? Why do we have such a high unemployment rate? Well, because there's not enough companies that are hiring. And if they are, let's say we're not creating companies, I understand that. Not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. Well, maybe you want to encourage the larger companies across the world to come to Canada. Well, you won't, because it doesn't encourage them, right? Our taxation is high, there's no other benefits. So how do we increase the quality of living, right? And that's why I'm saying a few of these things need to be updated. If we really ramp up our natural resource industry, that will create a boom of jobs. If we really start creating good incentives for the tech companies, that might create a boom of jobs, and that will probably inspire other people to do the same thing on a lower end and create their tech companies, right? Like, I'm watching you guys in this camera right now. I really want to say this. Don't let this stop you from building. You are here to build. And if you're watching, you're on that 0.1%, because unfortunately not everybody is made to be an entrepreneur. Don't stop. Keep building, keep innovating. But this would really help you if these resources were available, right? If you're in a country you have lack of resources, it makes it harder. It's like there's more, the deck is stacked more against you. And if you're an entrepreneur, you already know how much it's already stacked against you, right? Right. So when I make these videos, I want to motivate people. I want to help them and say, hey, these are all the things possible. But sometimes there's larger pieces of, bureaucratic tape that are causing issues that we need to bring light to, because we can fix this, right? Aside from all of this, you'll always have a chance to win, right? If your product is good and your business is doing great and you believe in what you're doing, you can push through all of this and you will still be successful. I want to know, I hope that message gets out clearly. This video is about the issues that are in Canada, like the ones I mentioned, that we need to fix. A few other cool things I wrote down. That's why I'm kind of looking here is we heavily rely on US in the trade market, and I don't understand why, because obviously there's few things US can offer and we can offer, which is great, but we need to start treating some of our natural resources more like, hey, listen, like, we kind of own this, right? Like, we run this, bro. Like, and I think the whole, Donald Trump coming on Instagram or Twitter talking about, 51st State Canada, never. I love Donald Trump. I love America. These guys are running their country like a business, and that's how it should be. It's amazing. I think we should do the same thing, but I don't think we're that, we're the tail end of United States. I think if we do what we're doing in Canada, we can be just as powerful. We're just as large. We need some management, we got to make some management changes, and we can be just there. I'd never want to merge myself in the US. As much as I love the US, I think Canada is equally capable of its own, greatness. So there's that. That's my opinion. You guys can have your own. The worst part of all this is, like, it sucks because it affects the middle class too, right? And that also affects entrepreneurs, because if you're in a middle class family, or you're starting off as an entrepreneur in a lower class or middle class family, once again, it makes it even harder for you to come out. So when you're watching this, all this means is you got to be sharper. There's more things stacked against you if you're in this country. People in the States might have more opportunities than you. They can raise better than you. Does that mean quit? No, be resourceful with yourself, bootstrap better, push through failure better, connect with people better, network better, right? Don't ever quit. But if you're the person who's like, hey, I wanted to learn about what's going on in Canada, well, Well, it sucks because the job market struggles because of where we're at right now. We keep printing money. Well, if we keep creating money and raising inflation and the cost of goods go up, that's not going to do no good. We should stop printing money, right? Everyone says this, we should stop printing money, but why not create value and other countries to come, work with us like a business? And that comes down to like a major thing is like natural resources, lumber, right? More tech innovation. Like people probably already talking about this, but we're in Canada. It's cold, right? Isn't that a natural cooling center for data centers? If done correctly, can we have huge places and sectors in the north that's barely used for anything? But what if we create infrastructure lines and we build really good data centers that have natural cooling, right? You turn something as annoying as like no snow place, like, heavy snow, heavy cold, and you turn it into these large data centers to accommodate artificial intelligence workloads, right? I think Jordan Peterson and Pierre might have touched on this, but I talked about this in a previous video. This will create a lot of jobs, right? You build Canadian electrical infrastructure, you create these large mega data centers, right? It helps bring businesses. Now tech companies, SaaS companies can now maybe use these cloud or co-location centers, and also it's energy friendly. It's probably a lot cooler naturally, right? Due to the cold, you're making use out of that. I think it's a super cool idea. But yeah, back to the individual, the regular middle class. Like, man, the housing sucks. The jobs are not the best right now. Cost of living are not the best right now. And look, when it comes to jobs, me, I built Nexa. It's a job seeker platform, right? We've made it so schools, universities, and boot camps can deliver good career services. We made it for you as a job seeker to be career ready, put yourself out there. And we made a recruiting tool so that recruiters can now screen talent faster. And we tried to connect everything together to solve the biggest problem going on. I'll never stop doing that. My goal is one day everybody can apply through our platform, and it is literally super transparent. So if your resume hits and it goes ding, you're not a hit, or ding, you're a hit, you don't have to wait 2 weeks to get that stupid email, right? You know that, dude, okay, cool, I wasn't a match. Guess what? On to the next job. Cool, I am a match. Perfect. This AI is going to screen me. Dope. I'll find out, okay, cool, I wasn't in the top 1%. At least now I know, right? That somebody's beating. I need to be more competitive. That's my goal, because if all these job boards, it's the same BS. It's moving so quick, but there's no information, it doesn't work, it moves slow, and you get the same automated email. We hate that shit. Please, we need to stop that. But next we're going to change that. So if you believe in this, what we can do, and we can really change how job seekers and employers interact, please come connect with me, come check our website, show us some support, and give us your feedback. We can really do this together. All right, to wrap this up, guys, here's my ideas of how we can fix this, right? Obviously, I'm not a prime minister, so I don't know if this will ever happen, but number one, ding, like common sense, support entrepreneurship, right? Don't only fund $7 billion for 2025, bump it up to 40 billion, 50 billion. It doesn't have to be USA to 100 billion, but let's get up there, guys. Let's really raise some rounds. Let's really, try to support good ideas that will create more jobs. Reduce the corporate taxes. 26% is pretty high. We could really cut that by half. It'll make a big difference, and it'll probably attract more people. You got to simplify permits and compliance processes, obviously in a standardized way, but that will help businesses grow quicker and things get done in real estate and housing and create more work. We need more regional innovation hubs, right? I know these cities like Brampton, Mississauga, Toronto, Montreal, Halifax, they have them, but they're simply not doing enough. They're doing very basic. They're not truly pushing innovation centers and funding research. Universities, as much as they want to say it, it's very hard and very lowly funded. We can help increase that, and that will overall benefit. And also the types of stuff you fund. We don't want to fund no BS, like things like what Elon Musk came out with, which is like funding the type of spiders or chameleons, what they're doing on a tree branch. I don't know. Like I said, I'm off my head. I could be wrong, but that's stupid. When it comes to energy, let's treat it like a business. Let's be the top 5 exporters. We have the largest reserve. Let's export more oil. Let's export more uranium. We had Germany, we had Japan, we had a few of these countries lined up. Let's go there. We should be under Qatar when it comes to this type of stuff. Same with the uranium, same with uranium, 1% is too less for us. We should be like 10% plus, maybe even 20-25%. I think it's very possible for us to be one of the top exporters of natural gas. And that will probably internally help our own gas prices as well. When it comes to inflation, housing costs, obviously there's so much talk about. Everybody has their own opinion. I don't know how to control, obviously, stop the printing of money. I'm not like the Canadian bank, but whoever's in power can do things like this. If we stop printing money and we get people to give us money through export, trade, and running Canada like a business, I think it could truly make a big difference, right? More zoning, more housing, less permits, more building, more infrastructure, more data centers, just more doing things, right? You do things more faster, cut the time, like all this policy and it, like, no, get people to work, let's start. How did Germany build, their export terminal in like 128 days? Like, dude, we can do this too. We're a large country, we have the resources. We gotta diversify our trade partnerships, right? Expand this whole free trade agreement. Let's work with more different goods and exchanges and bring some value in. My main favorite one is strengthen the workforce development, right? How many places do you go in Canada? Like, I want to ask this honestly. You've been to Ontario, Toronto, when you're trying to get a job and you go to these like employment Ontario centers and you go to these like YMCAs, do they actually help? Like, I never seen someone actually build me an solid resume if I want to get into tech, like really help. They usually help for like basic factory work, these employment agencies where they have big demand, and that's fine, keep doing that. But why don't we invest in higher roles, technology-based roles? Healthcare is growing, healthcare tech, IT, software, right? The career advisors aren't even software or IT tech engineers themselves, so they can't really give you career advice. So we need to create tools and systems to do that, and we have the power to do it with AI. Nexa is literally doing that, right? Nexa does that for such a low price. We can have employment agencies, workforce development centers, and all these places booming, and that will then encourage people to be more career ready in this space, expose them, overall contributing to the current job market crisis as well. Another cool thing is we want to offer maybe tax credits to employees and incentive programs, right? But that comes back to, if you upskill our economy or our citizens prior, they don't need, we don't need to invest heavy, or employers shouldn't have to invest heavy in upskilling after, because why are there gaps? Although I think it's still valuable to have these programs, there should always be a certain amount of budget to say, hey, if someone's coming into your company and they believe in your vision long term, give them the opportunity to learn and grow and do things. But I'm going to give you an example. If I'm coming to work in tech or I'm in sales and I want to be an account executive, I should already have tools and systems that tell me about, modules that I can read and train, and maybe mock interviews I can take, and, understanding ways I can put my resume, present myself to already, be upskilled. And that's what we do at Nexa as well. We want to make you career ready and always be upskilled and offer employers that kind of service, but really it's at an early level. But our goal is to hopefully have every employer, government, workforce development center use that. This is aside from me talking about Nexa. I was saying in general, it doesn't have to be us. It can be whatever. But we should integrate technology to do that, because the staff, the job developers, and the current government employment centers are just not cutting it, and that will start with it. So hopefully me bringing it aware to you guys can start with the change. Canada, in my opinion, is a shit show. I could be wrong. You guys might not agree with me, but I feel like we're not done for it. I feel like we could change. I don't know who can do that. I don't know who is going to be able to bring that change. All I know is if I talk about it and make you guys aware to it, maybe you resonated with it, maybe you go take your own action today, maybe you check out what we're doing, and maybe you see something that you want to do, right? Hopefully I encourage and I inspire you to do something great. Because at the end of this day, if you work really hard, you work the hardest you can every day, you wake up and you grind every day, it will be a better place, right? Imagine every human was operating at that level if they were, able-bodied to do so. I think it would be a great place. I still feel like our nation got potential. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you found this helpful, guys, please like, share, comment. There's a lot of things we talked about that could be controversial. I love to get your opinion on it or other people's opinion on it. I'll see you guys in the next one.